Hi, everybody. Welcome to Squared Up. I'm Bill Swinford.
And I'm Monica Daniels.
Hey, it's time for another Squared Up. And Tom Mann's with us. Hi, Tom.
Hey, I'm here too, believe it or not.
Tom.
Somewhat here, yes. I'm here.
Tom is recovering from an illness, and we're glad.
That thing we can't talk about.
Yeah, we can't talk about it.
It's that virus thing we can't talk about, that thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We used to talk about it a lot.
Yeah, now we can't talk about it. But it's been there, but we're recovered, doing well.
Yeah,
Glad
good.
to have you back and healthy.
I just wanted you to know that since we're in the same room. So
Okay.
Well, now he tells
I
us.
was thinking of you.
Now he tells us what it is, even
That's
though
why
we can't talk about it.
that's why I told you to stay away last week. So
Yeah. Well, we just took that personal. We just thought you were tired of us. Hey, so we got a lot that's in the news. I'm looking at this week's papers that are now out on newsstands. This is the October 3rd through 9th edition. Hopefully, when you see this news will still be fairly recent. Sometimes it takes us a little while to get the podcast up, but we're trying to do better with that. Okay. Right now, it is we are in the midst of Heron's homecoming. And it's homecoming season. Heron, I'm a Heron High School graduate.
Yeah.
Class of 1984. Shout out to the class of 1984. We weren't the greatest athletically or academically.
What about musically?
But we are the class of 1984. Musically?
Yeah.
But still, I love those guys. You got to meet a lot of them.
I did at your class reunion.
Not
It was
long
really
ago.
Fun.
Yeah, it's just the 40th year reunion for the class of 84. We did that a couple months ago. But, and the next is SIU's homecoming, I noticed. And that's a big deal in Carbondale. They'll have the parade. And I saw that Mike Reese, the voice of the Slookies, who retired just a little over a year ago, is going to be the Grand Marshal of the homecoming parade. So
nice.
Shout out to Mike. Now, so we'll just go right into a very sad thing, and made me think that Mike Reese is a good friend of Fred Huff and Fred Huff Jr. Fred Huff was an old friend of mine who used to be the director of sports information at SIU as an assistant athletic director. Also, back in the day, Fred managed the DuQuoin State Fair and had so many stories about that. But because of that, his son, Fred Jr., also had so many stories about the DuQuoin Fair and about SIU athletics, and loved to tell them on Facebook. I used to love to read his posts. I only got to know Fred a little bit in recent years, Fred Jr. a little bit in recent years. His father, Fred Sr., passed away last year, and sadly, due to cancer, Fred Jr. has just passed away.
Yeah, we're all really sad. He worked, of course, in the men's department at Dillard's, and
so he's a co-worker of yours.
Yeah, it was a dear colleague. Respected him so much, and it was just a big hole, like not having him there anymore. We're all grieving his loss. And we do have an area set up in the men's department where anyone who knows Fred can go and sign your condolences in a book to honor his memory, and it's going to be given to his family.
he was a great guy. He had a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of us know him because he was always there. And you had the question, and I would say, "Will this go good with this?" He was like, "Nope, it doesn't. Let's use this one."
Yeah.
And by the way, you can get this one. This one's a lot cheaper than the other one right now. This one's on sale. He was always great with that.
Always looking out for his
he was.
customers.
He was looking out for every
and-
customer, and it's like if something went on sale, he'd call all kinds of things.
Exactly.
So it's like, hey, I know you like that tie, but you know, it went similar to that right over here on the sales rack, Tom. That appeals to you.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, he knew his job very well, and so you always have that confidence that he's going to put you in the best, and he's going to look out for what your needs are.
I've seen so many guys posting a picture with him on Facebook over the past 24 hours because they're always in there with him.
Homecoming was a big season for him too, to touch base with all of his customers and their sons, and for him to get to know generations. And when you stay in positions like that for a long time and you connect a strong customer base, you get to know their children and even their grandchildren. But yeah, we're all just really sad.
Fred and I turned out at the same age. He was graduating from DeQuoin High School the same year I graduated from Heron High School, and both of us 58. We got to attend his birthday party in his backyard up in DeQuoin this summer, and that was a nice event.
Yeah, and his home is like a time capsule. You saw all the DuQuoin State Fair horse races and
Hambletonian memorabilia and, of course, SIU memorabilia as well. Fred actually worked as at the same type of work that his father did. He was in sports information and assistant athletic director at a couple of other colleges earlier on, but he really found his niche when he got into menswear and suits, and there at Dillard's, being the go-to guy locally for anyone that needed a little help. Oh, hey, you're getting a call.
let me turn that off.
Let's.
Oops.
That's okay. I'll check mine too. Be sure it's off. I think mine is okay.
Yeah, it's my customers. Speaking of
Customers
and clients,
Maybe since we're talking about Fred, when that happened,
it's perfect. Well, that's kind of the way it was. I'm sorry. What was great
Fred
about
was one of my customers. He always called me his beauty consultant, and he always gave me credit for his skin and looking young. He was like, "That's."
Oh
Monica.
yeah, he did. He even at the birthday party.
Talk to Monica.
That's the way he was introducing Monica to people.
Great guy. We'll miss him a lot.
Yeah.
He was a subscriber to our publications. Always very complimentary. He loved newspapers. He loved journalism. Again, that was kind of his background, working with journalists and sports writers and so on. And his archives between he and his father are tremendous. And it will be sad that we don't have him on there sharing some of those great old photos and great old posts. And hopefully somebody will be able to get their hands on that and do that in his stead. But we'll miss you, Fred. And we feel for all of those who are also going to miss him very much, like yourself, getting to see him all the time. As we move on, a few other things we wanted to mention. Speaking of sports, we'll stay on this bend. We have our football live streams continuing on the Swinford Media Group. We have usually on Friday nights two different live streams you can watch. One is on the Marion Star Facebook, which is the Wildcat Game Day. That's Marion's football squadron looking for that 5th win. When you get to 5 wins, you've got a better than average chance of getting into the playoffs. 6 wins kind of seals it. 5 wins is kind of an elusive thing. So as we record this on Thursday, tomorrow night, Marion's going to try to get that 5th win. At the same time, our WFCN page, which is more of a regional page, is doing a game of the week. And you can catch, if you're not interested in the Marion game, you can catch a different game on WFCN each Friday. And we're going to keep that up, obviously, through the football season and hopefully into the playoffs. And we want to really thank all of our sponsors who make that possible. We got so many sponsors, and we give them a shout out on the live stream. So many sponsors that make that possible, so that we can put those out there for free to everybody. So thankful to them. Also in sports, Thrillville has been named by the Prospect League as this is the second year in a row that they've won the Stadium Experience of the Year award.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
And so that's the league that the Thrillbillies play in, and out of all the teams in the league for the second year, Thrillville, which is now what Mountain Dew Park is kind of known as, is Thrillville.
Yeah.
And Mountain Dew Park is the name now that was formerly Ritwan Park. But it's just the stadium experience where it's not just coming to a baseball game, but you get the whole minor league game experience. I know they've worked really hard to do that. They're adding more elements to it all the time. And they've done another great job this year. And they also led the Prospect League in attendance again this summer. So shout out to our friends at the Oasis Development, Black Diamond Harley Davidson, the owners of the stadium, and the Thrillville Thrillbillies. We are going through the news. As I saw in the papers, there's something coming up that we wanted to go ahead and start promoting. I don't think I even mentioned this to you, Monica, but our friend Troy Benetone out of Community of Faith Church, who just did a hosted a Family Fun Day fundraiser for the Heron House of Hope, which they do every year. He's got another project right away that he's doing, and it's also going to be out at Community of Faith on the grounds of Community of Faith Church, which is going to be called Hope Fest 2024. And this is going to be on Saturday, October 26th. So the end of this month at Community of Faith Church, it's going to include a 5K walk and run. It's going to include a lot of music on a main stage. It's all going to be outside. And it's a fundraiser for Phase 2 of the Heron House of Hope. And you may know of the Heron House of Hope as a place in downtown Heron where you can get a free meal. You can shop at their
they have a store there, like
store.
like a secondhand store.
There we go. Right. Yeah. But Phase 2 is going to include what's called the Hope Community Wellness Gap Clinic, Hope Emergency Shelter, and the House of Hope Commodities Distribution Center. So right there next door, they are moving into what I know from Heron, having grown up in Heron, as the former CC Club, the Christopher Columbus Club, right there on 14th Street. They are moving into that building and going to make good use of that to continue their ministry and their growth. And this is a ministry that is supported by many of Marion's churches, both financially and with volunteer help. And so this event on October 26th is going to be a fundraiser for that. 6 nationally acclaimed band with a Christian rock alternative music bend to them. And I did this once with Troy years ago, something we used to call Explo Fest, also on the grounds of Community Faith. That was before Troy even pastored there. Troy and Steve McEwen and Roger Lipe, one of our regular audience members here on Squared Up, was a part of this Youth Explosion board. Keith Kibler, trying to name everybody. I'm going to forget somebody, but it was great to be able to do that then. But it's been, as Troy mentioned, it's been 30 years since we've had a festival like that around here.
Yeah, that's great.
So we will look forward to that.
Exciting. Yeah, I look forward to that. So what part are you going to play in that?
I'm not sure. Right now we're helping promote it. Back then, Troy and I used to be in charge of the vendors tent with all the concessions and all the vendors. And Troy was great at it. I wasn't particularly that good at it, but Troy can really put on an event. One thing you'll know about Troy, being another Memphis native, by the way. Do you know Troy, Tom?
Actually, I don't think I do.
His son, Josh, is the owner of Crown Brew.
Okay.
And Troy is longtime pastor who was out of the area for a long time, but a Memphis native.
Okay.
And he makes great barbecue, as he should, being from Memphis.
It's important. We have our priorities.
I'm one of the few. I've just enjoyed that in the years, but yeah.
Yeah, well, some of us have to make it. Some of us have to be the ones to consume it, and that's my role.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that one.
Hey, are you going to vote?
It's a very personal question.
Okay.
It's none of your business.
This is a podcast. People care about what you think. No, I'm not asking you to endorse a candidate. But
of course I'm going to vote.
There you go. That's the right answer.
There you go.
Don't get me started.
I too will vote. Well, you can start voting now.
Yeah.
Early voting is underway. It's a thing you can do these days. You can do it as easily as walking into, if you live in Williamson County, the Williamson County Courthouse and casting your vote now.
Get it done and over with.
I don't know why I had that on my list here. I guess just pointing that out, that in our papers there's a list of all the early voting locations and the voting locations and how that all works. You can find all of that. We'll have a sample ballot before long. So that's all we're going to say about election 2024, right? You won't see any endorsements here. You'll just have to guess who we are voting for right now. And they say
but not in the comments and not.
No.
Yeah.
No. And Leah, let's not get into that. But listen, one thing they say is if you haven't decided by now, then why haven't you? I don't know.
I'm decided, but I won't say anything.
Okay, good. Thanks. We're on this podcast. We're all not going to say anything.
Yeah.
And we'll move on. So
That was fast.
yes, here's a cool thing coming up. I'm just going through the papers. Here's a cool thing coming up. There's something called Broadway to Barbershop coming up, presented by the Little Egypt Chorus on Saturday, October 19th, 2 p.m. at the Market Street Music Conservatory, right there in downtown Marion.
Yeah, that's a nice little venue, the Market Street Conservatory.
Former First Christian Church.
If you haven't been there, you need to make it there. It's really nice.
But this caught my eye because my dad used to be in this group. It's a barbershop chorus is what it is. You know, you have barbershop quartets.
Yeah.
Well, this is a barbershop chorus. So you got back in his time, there were probably 25 men standing there with their little outfits and their little hats, and he would sing part in that.
I didn't know he was a singer.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was.
That's where you get it from.
He was a singer. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess if I'm a singer, I don't know that I am, but I love to sing.
You do?
You know.
You've sung on stage?
And I've sung
A few times? Karaoke?
And I've sung in the car.
In the car?
Mm-hmm. We have a party that we're looking forward to going to where there's a promise of getting to sing karaoke.
Yeah, we're going to dress up in costume.
We're keeping that a surprise.
Yeah, we are. You can guess. Take a guess in the comments on
that's right.
What Bella and I are going to be dressed as for Halloween.
Okay.
Danny and Sandy, is that what you're going to be?
Oh, that's a great guess.
Guess.
Yeah, especially her as Sandy. Me as Danny doesn't really work, but
you can grease your hair back and slick it back.
And have this big white
Can you
beard.
do that little falsetto? Can you get up there a little bit higher and do that? Why?
I got chills.
There you go.
They're multiplying. Oh, Sandy. I can't.
I thought that was good.
That was a great guess. We're not going to go as Danny and Sandy.
Yes, we will tell you we are not going as
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
But it is
maybe we'll do that next year.
But it is kind of a musical couple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's not really a couple, but they're a musical couple.
Yeah, it's a musical couple. Mm-hmm. We're going to sing some karaoke with this couple.
Elton John and Kiki D.
Well, that's another great guess. That's a song we love.
Yeah.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Yeah.
Gosh, I told you before.
We belt that one out in the car.
Don't give me a chance to sing with this microphone in front of me. Just
I think if I keep going, I may guess it.
Just keep throwing songs and people out there. I couldn't if I tried. Okay, so that's coming up.
Yeah.
Why did I even mention that?
So you could sing?
Oh, my dad, you're saying I was a singer.
Yeah,
I'm not a singer. As I've just demonstrated, I'm not really a singer.
I thought it was good.
But I enjoy singing anyway. Okay, voting. Barbershop Quartet. Boy, we talked so briefly about voting. Heron Unit 4. Hey, we got to go to the Heron Chamber of Commerce lunch and hear from the Heron School District. We heard from Nathaniel Wilson, who's the superintendent, Cassie Burgess, the assistant superintendent, and a former teacher of my son Riley's at Lincoln School back a long time ago now. But anyway, Cassie and Nathaniel filled in the Heron School District on what's going on. Filled in the Heron Chamber of Commerce on what's going on in the school district. And two new things that they mentioned was, and I'm noticing I have a typo in the story that I typed up. Anyway, the district's 2,250 students, and they're going to benefit from building expansions at Heron Junior High, which is happening right now, a new gym. And there's a new pre-K center being built in Heron in the former Vigiano's Fitness Center. And that's huge for Heron to have a nice facility for their pre-K department. Right now, I think they mentioned they're utilizing the First Baptist Church in Heron. And so they have a good pre-K program. They just need a good home for it.
Right. And one thing I've recently learned about the Heron High School that is so impressive is that they have a fully run student bank operating out of their high school.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about that.
Yeah, so they have the students, everything from the bookkeeping, teller, even auditors, credit, debt collectors. So they have the from top to bottom fully run student bank. They're the only high school in the state of Illinois to do that. And
Isn't this impressive, Tom?
Yeah.
That is really amazing. You could
Like-
learn some things. I mean,
Absolutely.
especially that thing about debt collection and things like that that you don't, as a kid, you don't realize. But I think it would be really good. It's a great idea. It's practical. It's so
is.
practical.
It's so smart. And
And they're training the next generation of debt collectors, it sounds. Come shake you down.
yeah, exactly. Why you don't want to go into debt.
But
you want to pay your bills on time.
I think it'd be cool just to understand, how banking works
Yeah.
and things like that. And to me, that's a big thing.
Yeah. And I just think it's so smart. I think every high school should do that. And
Yeah, I think about the things that we learned in high school and how many of those kind of practical things did we take away from it. Of course, everybody always says, when am I going to use this, algebra in real life? Well, it's kind of, so many of those kind of things, they're just kind of training your brain to think in a certain way, which is going to be important for you. You just don't realize it. So the more of that you're able to get in, the better off you are. At the same time, there are certain things, like I had a consumer education class with Sharon Walker, was my teacher at Heron High School. A lot of you from Heron will remember Mrs. Walker. She's still going strong, but back then she was one of the coolest teachers in the school. Yeah. And she taught us very practical things, like how to write a check. Back then, writing a check was important. That seems less important
Huge
now. Yeah. But just some of those little things that it helped as you were, growing into adulthood to know how to do. And I think the more of those things you have, the better.
Maybe that should be our question that you could put out to people today, is the fact, what was one of those key things you learned in high school that stuck with you?
Yeah.
Because it could be something unusual like that. Could be like the banking program they have there.
Or what do you wish you had learned in high school? Like I have regrets that I didn't take auto shop in high school, right? Yeah. We were so much on a college track taking those other classes that it wasn't room left for, and I was also in choir and also in band. And it just left no room in the schedule to take some of those practical things. So you almost wish some of those kind of classes were required. Of students.
You know what? I will share what I learned was something very unique. I learned how to talk better, talk right,
You talk good,
talk good, talk gooder. And it wasn't really that, but I had this inkling to go in radio and television back when I was in high school. My principal picked it up. I became the student government president, not because I was smart, but because, I don't know, I could talk. And one day he said, "Hey, would you like to do the announcements?"
That's what I was getting ready to say. They should have had you doing the announcements.
I was doing the announcements.
That's
I
cool.
would every morning, good morning. Those are this morning's announcements. I was so nervous. I remember that, but that was my first. He always said that was my first introduction to radio.
Yeah.
But I did that. That was one of the unique things. And I was in band and so many other things. I wasn't that good at sports. I was kind of a short, shrimpy guy at the time. But that was a thing that stuck with me. I actually carried that into it. I had a little bit of confidence because that was your peers. They're always making fun of you about something.
Right.
Did you stumble over that word, Tom? Yes, I did.
But those are the best kind of educators, right?
Oh,
the
yeah.
ones that know their students that well.
Pick
that
you out.
They find little niches, little ways to help you to have an experience that could turn into your whole career, your whole life, and just they see something in you and they help match you up with a direction.
I wound up being the student government president of the high school because I could talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't shut up. That was part of the problem. So we did that, but I had a lot of fun doing that. I would have to stand up before the pep rallies and everything. You'd make announcements and whatever was going on, and that was kind of fun. And except for the time that I'd gone to the bathroom and literally I walked out in front of everybody with my fly open. And
that's rough.
yeah, so that was rough. And I remember happened to another buddy of mine too, but I remember I literally in front of the whole student body turned it around and zipped it up and turned back. So
and that was probably
it was like something off of a movie, some high school
comedy
movie.
relief
Oh
for-
my gosh, yes. But I learned a lot out of that. So anyway,
Oh, has that ever happened to me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, way too many times. That's why I now do a podcast where I'm hidden beneath the table because you just never know. No, it's
sorry about that one. I just came up.
High school is it's interesting how it's 4 years of your life out of a long life, and yet it's such a vital 4 years of your life. It can really shape how you know,
Future traumas.
future, yeah, and how you,
Trauma and the rest. Still have those nightmares about missing PE the entire year. It's
Yeah.
the last day of class, and I've just now made it to PE class. And I'm like,
that's a nightmare of yours,
yeah.
or did that really happen?
No. Hey,
I could just see you hiding from PE.
it's true.
Yeah. No, okay. Well, then, I mean, yeah, it's funny. I mean, I told you I played a little basketball in high school.
Yeah.
And for years after that, I just dreamed of still being in high school, still playing basketball. Had regrets that I didn't play longer in high school. And it's just funny how that kind of stuff just stays with you in life. And yet, again, if you've got the right teachers, the right educators, and if they are kind of looking at you again individually and looking at your your gifts and the potential in you and can bring that out, obviously even at the lower levels. My kids benefited. Cassie Burgess, I mentioned, was my son's teacher at Lincoln School before she became an administrator in Heron, and was just a terrific example for a third grader and his classmates. I mean, we could just start naming teachers. Mark Adkins was huge for my son Ross in connecting to Ross's artistic side, and also that helped bring out Ross's language abilities. And now Ross is a graphic artist and a great writer, and Just Landis, huge for my son Sam. But I regret now that I'm mentioning them, because every one of their teachers, it seems like going through, were so meaningful to my kids, and they would, if they were on here, they'd mention so many more names. But you've talked about your teachers in school too.
Yeah, I had a college English teacher, Mrs. Bodenhammer, who made a huge impact on my life and helped to give me a love of literature and the arts, and even astronomy, just being able to look up in the sky and recognize constellations and the part that even played in history. And so, made a difference.
So going back to the question we're asking to give us in the comments is like, what did you take in high school that turned out to be a very practical, helpful thing? Or again, what do you wish that you had taken in high school? We're about done. We do want to mention the tragedies going on that has gone on, especially in North Carolina. One of your favorite places in the world is Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, and it's they're having historic flooding right now, as everyone already knows. Asheville, particularly, has been isolated from the rest of the world. It's surrounded by water. You can only get in through helicopter, airplane. Otherwise, we can't even get to it right now. And, we were talking about earlier, like when you see these kinds of tragedies, one thing Mr. Rogers always would say was to look for the helpers. And in the midst of all of this, one thing that is so encouraging is all of the people that are wanting to help and that are taking donations and that are taking special trips into the areas that have been affected by the flooding. Of course, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, right? And South Carolina might be one of them as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean,
700 people are missing right now.
Yeah.
And
stretches into Tennessee even a little bit, I believe.
Tennessee.
But there are, speaking of the helpers, Mr. Rogers, there are helpers locally that are working to gather supplies, and you probably have seen on Facebook and other places and are aware of some local drives. So again, that's another thing you put in the comments. If you know of a effort underway that you want to publicize, please use our comments for that. We want to help every way that we can and get them back on their feet, and get them going again.
Lots of prayers and support for them right now.
That's right.
Yeah, I think the only thing we've ever experienced like that was the derecho that we had, the May 8th storm. Was it 2009?
Yeah,
and that was I would say the thing that was the most catastrophic here that affected the whole area. So imagine that. As I was mentioning before, we went on. I had a friend of mine that was saying that they went 3 to 4 days, literally no water, no electricity, no cell service, and they were literally stuck and stranded.
Right.
And there's a lot of that's going on, and there's a lot of efforts taking place, and it takes time, but it's something we need to even think about here. What would happen if you had?
We're very close to that fault line.
Exactly,
and
so many things.
It's been I don't remember the last time it went off, or we had an earthquake. It was felt all the way in the Liberty Bell. The Liberty Bell was ringing from it, and the Mississippi River ran backwards. So
New Madrid,
yeah,
big one.
yeah. So and
The Mississippi River ran backwards.
Formed Reelfoot Lake up in
Yeah.
Tennessee, not too far where I live in Memphis.
Wow.
Yeah.
It went backward. Apparently, the earth went down or something there and filled in a whole area, and the river went backwards. Mighty Mississippi. So it was a big deal.
well, I didn't know this was going to come up today. Otherwise, I would have looked up the exact year that happened. But it's been over 100 years ago, right?
150 something years
And I
ago.
know that our fault line is one that people are watching it.
Right. Earthquakes, tornadoes,
Floods.
I don't even know how to pronounce it.
You go to the
Derechos.
mountains
Derechos.
to get
Yeah.
away from hurricanes.
Yeah.
So
Our tornado here in '82, which I was here to experience, was devastating as well. It does seem like the more technologically reliant that we become, such as cell phones, the tougher it is to go without them. And
They're usually out in situations like that.
and it's so easy to communicate nationwide, worldwide now, that when we lose our ability to connect to somebody, and I saw some people using Facebook trying to see if anybody knows if their relative in North Carolina was okay, because they weren't able to communicate with them as they normally do, and it's alarming and anxiety raising to not be able to reach, as you know, the people that you love anymore instantly, because we're so used to that. So our hearts go out to all of those who are going through this, and again, we encourage you to help any way that you can. I think we've done it, Monica. I think we've gotten through our list,
our podcast today.
our podcast today. It's been all over the place. So some sadness that we had to share, some difficulty, but also some good things. One last good thing to mention: the bricks are like 3/4 done as of today. The square, Marion's downtown square, will be complete.
Just keeps getting nicer and nicer.
It is,
So
and it's
pretty.
just in time for homecoming.
Yeah.
Of course, we have Christmas coming, very merry Christmas, and the annual parade will be here before you know it, and how beautiful it will all be.
Yeah. Got pulled out my sweater this morning and
You're ready.
saying goodbye to my summer clothes and hello to my fall and winter clothes.
Yeah, it's getting in the 50s at night. It feels like fall.
Yeah, it does.
And that'll be fun for our football this weekend.
Pumpkin spice is,
And
yeah.
football for me, pumpkin spice for you. Tom, any other words before we go?
That's really it. I think we got it pretty well.
Okay.
Really good. Glad to be with you today.
And
Yeah.
thanks for joining us. We've had a few different people contact us this week and tell us they'd found the podcast and we're enjoying it. And thanks for those that are reaching out and giving us encouragement. We're going to keep going. And we're thankful to all of those that support the Swinford Media Group in all the different ways for helping us to continue to do this.
Yeah.
We will join you again soon. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome. So it was fun.
Thank you, Monica.
My pleasure.
All right. We'll see you again soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.